It is the top of the hour. Welcome, everyone. We are live. Welcome to our Success Mastermind for Monday, the 20th of December. It sounds weird just to say that. 20th of December, coming into the final moments of 2021. John Lavenia, of course, here with you, packing, surrounded by boxes. This is the last time you'll probably see me in this room. We are loading up and headed east, and it's going to be a fun trip. Whether we like it or not, we're going to make it a fun trip. Anyway, I love you guys. Glad to be here with you. Quick announcement tonight. We do have the conclusion of The Power of Your Subconscious Mind in our book study group with Dr. Joseph Murphy and with everybody else who intends to show up there. Me and typically Missy, her husband, Bob, Lindsay, the Llama King, Stewart, and many other esteemed members of our mastermind group. And so we're going to be wrapping up that book. I am open to suggestions on what book we do next. I think it's going to be something by Neville. It's just going to have to be something that's available on Kindle because I don't have any paper books available to me right now. They're all in boxes, and they will be for a couple of weeks. We are going to be taking next week off from book study groups. So that'll be starting in January with whatever our next book is. So open to suggestions on that. Welcome, Daisy. Glad to see you. Besides that, I don't have any other announcements. Just next couple of weeks are going to be light, mostly general sessions, couple of special events here and there. And I will also announce that this Friday, Christmas Eve, Adrian, our resident scholar, will be hosting our Christmas Eve special general session. So I'm excited about that. I will be loading a truck at that time with a bunch of hired workers. So quick public service announcement for everybody to brighten your day. Since we're all in Christmas mode, well, anyone who's participating in that holiday, right? People tend to buy stuff as gifts, right? Well, I bought myself a gift. This wasn't recently. This was about 6 months ago. And here it is. Now, some of you may remember me talking about this. I don't sell this product. And yet it is a coffee cup warmer. You put it on the table, you put the cup down on it. There's a little gravity switch, right? So when the weight of the cup goes down on it, it turns itself on. You take the cup off, it turns itself off. There's 3 temperature settings. It's got a 4-hour timer in case it needs to shut itself off. If you forgot the cup on there, it shuts itself off in 4 hours. $20. I don't know how I ever lived without this thing, right? I bought it on a whim because I was traveling and I didn't have a microwave. And I was like, you know what? I want to keep the coffee cup warm. And so ever since then, it has been on my desk. I brought it back home with me, and holy crap, holy, I just bought my wife one for Christmas because her coffee cup warmer is not as nice as that one. And so now she's got the nice one too. Don't tell her, okay? Shannon, if you're watching, you didn't hear that. But that's, wow, for $20, like, wow, wow, wow. I hope it lasts forever. Here's the thing, everybody, and I think this would be relevant to our, hey, Adrian, relevant to our conversation today. I see, and you may relate to this in your own life in various ways, but I see there's two personalities or 2 characters inside of me. Maybe it's because I'm a Gemini. Okay, probably not though. But there's 2 characters inside of me that kind of fight with each other. One of these characters likes to stay light and fast and, you know what, release stuff, right? Use stuff, release it, right? Let it go. Obviously, I'm talking to you as a person who's preparing to move, right? So this is like, what are we doing with this stuff, right? It's an interesting thing. Well, we release that stuff, right? We just went to, I don't know, 4 or 5 trips to Goodwill this week so far, just releasing stuff that they can go and, you know, sell for pennies on the dollar to less fortunate people and whatever, right? People shop there. Actually, they have some decent stuff there. I know because I've given them some decent stuff. But I have no use for it. So I release that stuff. Okay. The other character inside of me wants to clutch on to stuff. And I don't know if this is my Italian upbringing, Missy, or what. Okay. My mother does this. I saw my mother yesterday. We drove up to, she lives up in the mountains. You know, we went to see her and we ate the lasagna and the turkey and the antipasta and the fruit cup. And we had the whole thing, right? Because we're going to be on the road for Christmas. And so she like never releases stuff. Like once stuff enters her realm, it's in her realm forever, right? So I've got both of these guys inside of me, okay? And so on one hand, I like the idea of being light and fast. That sounds cool. Unattached, right? Move fast, right? And on the other hand, hey, hold on a second here. I like stability. I like when stuff, I was just talking to you about this coffee cup warmer. I hope this coffee cup warmer never wears out, never breaks. I want it exactly in the perfect condition in that exact spot for the rest of my life, never change it. And so, right? And so I don't know if you can relate to that, but that's buy once, buy right, that sort of a thing. We just discovered this, by the way, with some of our furniture, which we were told 7 years ago when we bought it, oh, nice leather and everything. It turns out it was vinyl, and the vinyl's coming off of the backing, and it's next to worthless. It's next to worthless, right? We wound up giving some of the pieces away. We're just not going to move it, right? I'll never buy vinyl furniture again. I'll tell you that. In fact, I want to see the tags. I want to know that, because now there's even this stuff called bonded leather. You guys know what that is? I didn't either. I had to look it up. Apparently it's 20% leather, where they take the leather scraps and they put it in the blender or whatever with all the synthetic, polyurethane or whatever. And it smells like leather, but it's 80% vinyl, right? And so there you go. Another way to get cheap leather furniture. We don't want cheap. We want to buy once and buy right. And so we've got these two, I speak for myself, I've got these two tendencies. One is to clutch on to stuff and never change. And the other one is to catch and release, right? Get utility out of something and let it go, right? And so I was thinking, as this relates to something that I've heard called the vacuum law of prosperity. Some of you are familiar with this. The vacuum law of prosperity. This may be a paradigm shift for people if you've been more strictly on the the clutching onto stuff and never releasing stuff side. But let's say in your environment, this works in the mental environment too, but in the physical environment that you occupy, we can call it your house, your apartment, your domicile, you've got a certain amount of space. It's a finite amount of space. It's not indefinite, it's finite. Right. And in that space, you can have stuff. That's the purpose of having an enclosed space, is that stuff can go in it. You're one of those, the body is one of those stuffs, right? So that we're not going to do away with. But this other stuff that's in there is taking up space. And as long as that space is occupied, nothing else can occupy it. So what if you want better stuff? What if you've got goals? What if you've got goals to have, something really nice? Right? We could be talking about in your garage, for example, right? You may have some stuff in there like a car. Maybe you want a better car. Okay, well, one thing you could do is, keep looking at the existing car and be like, oh, I want the other car, and dealing with it, right? And then slowly, steadily, maybe getting ready to upgrade at some point. Or the other thing you could do, assuming you don't drive every single day, because then I would say probably don't do this, but you can go ahead and sell the car. Now you got less of a, insurance, registration, liability, all of that stuff. You can take Lyft or whatever. Those guys need to eat too. Personally, I don't drive a whole lot, but you've got now what? You've got a space. You've got a vacuum, which I would venture would be filled more quickly, because nature abhors a vacuum, right? Nature doesn't tolerate, except for black holes. I don't even know what a black hole is, but there's such a thing as a vacuum, I suppose, in space. It can be called a black hole. But besides that, there's no vacuums, right? It's very hard to maintain a vacuum. And so things will fill that space. Things that you like, things that you prefer. But we can't do that if we're always clutching on. I'll use the car as a very big, obvious example. That would be extreme. How about your clothes closet? We've had this conversation before, right? So here's the stuff that I haven't worn in a year. Okay. And granted, I've got a few winter items. I live in Phoenix, right? And so I don't wear them too often. So that's forgivable, right? If I go into the mountains, I take that stuff with me, and it's good. I got a good military grade, parka, and I'm going to be warm. I like being warm. And so, yeah, it's forgiven that I haven't ventured into the mountains so much in the last year. That's fine. But what about that shirt that looked cool when it was on the rack at the store, but it never quite fit right? I don't know if any of you here have problems fitting into clothes, but I tried on this Versace shirt, because I'm Italian, right? And I couldn't get my arms into the sleeves. Apparently, these guys got little string bean arms and stuff. Beautiful fashion, but how do you do that? You can't get your arms in there, right? So, so what am I going to do? Right? I'm going to clutch onto stuff all the time and stay heavy. I heard this saying, things are the thieves of time. Things are the thieves of time. That tends to ring true. I need to polish my stuff, right? There goes the time. Now, I'm not saying to renounce all worldly possessions and go sit in a cave or something, although I suppose that is a possibility. I'm not there or not interested myself. Plus, I got a family. We would be cave people. Cave people. That would be below our standards, let's say. And so, and so I'm looking for the balance. And maybe you guys can help me with this. Maybe, maybe Adrian can help me with this, because I think Adrian has more balance in his life than I do. I may be completely wrong. I probably am, but I'm going to give him credit anyway. The idea of being able to balance, the utility of the moment and releasing things versus being possessed by our possessions. That's how my Uncle George put it in his classic book, What You Think Is What You Get. Being possessed by our possessions. 'Tis the season where stuff is going back and forth between people. And I know that regifting is a thing for those who never quite allow that thing into their life that somebody else thought would be good for them in their life. And that's understandable too. But in addition to the seasonal, catch and release kind of things, is there a tendency that you have to hoard, or to never quite have what you need because you just let everything go? Where's the balance in there? Now, I mentioned that this can work in our physical space, but also in our mental space. Okay, so here's my belief, which at one point, hopefully, I found workable. Somewhere I got that belief. And you can fill in the blank with something. Let's do something something that's obviously a good known, something that would help you survive in the world, right? Don't walk out in front of speeding traffic. Okay, that's a good datum. I like that, right? I believe that if I walk out in front of speeding traffic, I will create a hazard. I will probably get hit. And even if I don't get hit, I'm probably going to be liable for a car collision or something. Good idea to not walk out in front of speeding traffic, I believe. Okay, we could argue that, I suppose, but probably not. Probably not. Okay, so that I'm gonna hold on to. I want that datum right there, and never move, never change, never wear out, never break. Exactly that. I'm gonna clutch onto that. Okay, so that one's pretty obvious. That one's workable. Okay, what about these other beliefs that somebody gifted to me that I didn't have the wherewithal to re-gift, so to speak, or to say, you know what? That may be workable for you, and then again, it may not be, because by their fruits you'll know them, right? But whatever sales pitch you're giving me right now about how to live my life, I can accept or reject that. I think a lot of times, and this goes right back to Weldon Long, the power of consistency, where he talked about the box. We think inside the box. And the box is filled with parts, and whatever parts are in the box, you can take out and you can make whatever machinery. He said, for example, a box of motorcycle parts. Well, what's the only thing you can make out of that box? It would be a motorcycle, right? You couldn't make, a house or a microphone, right? Or Italian cookies, right? It would be a motorcycle. That's it. Okay, because that's the parts that are in the box. And as he said, a lot of these things were put in our box, these parts, these beliefs, prior to what some would call the age of reason. okay, which arguably is 7 years old or whatever. But here's beliefs from mom, dad, grandpa, authority figures, teachers, right? And now they're in your box and you get to work with those parts. Here are the beliefs, which may or may not serve the people who sold them to you, but they're in your box. So we've got to clean out the box or the closet, so to speak, and assess, actually, give an actual assessment of, is this serving me or not? I like stuff like this because it so obviously serves me and it doesn't take up much space. I even kept the box so I can pack it and it doesn't get cracked or anything, right? I tend to do that. I keep the boxes for stuff. That's just what I do. But back to, metaphorically speaking, right back to, what beliefs haven't served me. I'll tell you one. In fact, I admitted this a couple of weeks ago. In fact, Stuart had a comment about this. I don't think Stuart's here with us right now. I don't see him. But I'm John of the desert, man. I live in the West. I have for 20 years. I triumphantly exited the northern East Coast, okay, 20 years ago. And I'm a desert rat, right? That's my identity, right? And here I am about to move to Tampa. Ooh, that's weird. That's weird. I'm gonna give it a shot. Give it a year, right? Get some of that, water and humidity and huge friggin' mosquitoes and pelicans that like drop half a tuna on your car when they take a dump. I'm gonna check it out. Maybe it's something good. Maybe it's bad. Arizona's still gonna be here. And Utah, I mean, I love the mountains. I love the West, right? And guess what? We can travel. We can do it. Shannon wants a trailer. We're going to go around the country, and it sounds nice. Sounds good. Okay. But the identity, the idea that I clutch onto. Now, is that limiting or is that freeing? Clutching on, holding on to stuff, right? So it's been a shift for me. Some of you are entering a new phase of your life. I guess I am too, right? If we're talking about moving across country, right? But entering a new phase of your life in terms of business entrepreneurship. What products, services, what combinations, are you endeavoring into, right? Whereas your security, the familiarity, your identity as, Sally, the administrative assistant. I'm making this up. Sally, the administrative assistant, isn't here right now, but that was the known, familiar, right? Stable. Oh, we're not stable anymore. Well, you know what? The administrative assistant job takes up a certain amount, and you only have so much, right? A certain amount of time, attention, right? Effort. Okay. And so the opportunity cost of that is, here's what you're not pursuing. The opportunity cost of having a closet full of clothes I don't wear, right? Like I can't put the nice clothes in it. So how willing are we as we approach this new year to release some of this stuff? And I'm not telling you it's comfortable, right? So I'm in the thick of it right now. Okay. Complete life change. Not complete, right? I got a family and, I'm bringing a lot of stuff with me, right? So it's not like I'm not going to have any stuff. Okay. Tell you what, I'm bringing this chair. This chair is more than 20 years old. It's a real leather chair. You look at some of the office. I was thinking about releasing this and I'll just buy a new one when I get there. No, to replace this chair would be like $600. It's like really like bitchin' awesome, like real leather, totally, great construction. You can buy junk for 150. Bonded leather, by the way. Bonded leather. Yeah, it's nonsense. So yeah, it's not like I'm going to be bereft of all stuff. Okay. So there is some familiarity with that. But I think as we get into 2022, and I think our conversations over the next couple of weeks are going to be kind of going in this direction, is really about that shift, the deliberate shift, what some people would call a resolution, if you will, but that deliberate shift from here's what's familiar, but not quite satisfactory or fulfilling or whatever. And here's what I'm going to put in its place. So now I am reluctantly, although take the leap, right? I'm going to release that to make way for this. Again, that could be physical stuff. And if you're moving, it definitely is. It could be, the mental stuff. It could be as it relates to how you see yourself in the world and how you interact with the world. I think Cary Grant said it best when he said, I just acted like Cary Grant for so long that I became him. So decide who you are and then be that. This is my own advice, by the way, that I need to hear. So thank you all for reminding me. Is that a new cat, Mandy? That's a pretty cat. No? Okay. Very good. Let me stop talking. The cat has now entered the conversation. And Adrian, if you would. And then I thought I saw Gail. I'm not sure. Go ahead. Adrian, please. Hello, Adrian.
John, can you hear me okay?
I can.
Yes. Well, interesting comments. I think for me, it's not getting the thing into your realms in the first place. These things, once they're over the threshold, as with negative thoughts, they're hard to get rid of. And it was interesting that you mentioned black holes, although not in the way you describe them, because they're not a vacuum. Interestingly, for your example, they are matter that is so dense but so tiny that they create a massive gravitational pull, which is like our brain and our home. If we're not careful, we can attract everything into it that we look at. Gravity does not discriminate over what it pulls into that black hole. So getting the balance you referred to is more about not letting these things in the first place, in my view. I think it's so much harder to clean up your mind, clean up your space once it's in there. It's a real effort. If we could all learn some of that discipline in the first place to say, I don't want this, I don't need this, don't let it in, then actually we're half the battle as won already. We've kept the space clear, we've kept rolling. And I think that wonderful, those cleaning programs, the cleanup programs, the Japanese lady that does those, her advice on one of them was, if you hold something in your hand and say, do I really love this? And really think about that, then you decide whether you want it or not. And that could apply to a thought as well, I guess. Do we want to accept this thought? Do I really love and cherish this thought? Is it going to help me? Is this item, this gadget, this thing that I want to buy right now, do I really love this Versace shirt? If I'm not absolutely committed to it, don't buy it. And I think that's great advice as well, because you've got to have that kind of filter, I think. I don't know what you think, John.
Yeah, I just shared what I think about it in terms of stuff. Like having moved several times, just my books, just the books was 1,200 pounds of books. I weighed them. And that's having switched to Kindle, over the last couple of years. But the idea of, what's it weigh? How much space does it take up? Would I rather have that than this money in my hand? Right? Probably not. Right? Let me keep the money and go buy some crypto or something. So yeah, those are all, I think if we're conscious of that. And you know what else, Adrian and everyone, I'm attempting to help my daughter be more conscious of that too. Because, in her world, she's 11, buy, right? Everything. So I think, and this is maybe something you've noticed for yourself. I think we get to a point where we get to the top of that mountain of accumulating stuff, and then perhaps we just start releasing stuff. I know my father's going through that right now, and he's in his late 70s, right? And he's just like giving stuff away, or I showed him how to list stuff on eBay, right? And so he's like, oh, I got $100 for this thing or whatever. And so he's just releasing stuff. Hope it doesn't release everything. We'll have a, inheritance at some point, but by the way, for those who don't know, we are pushing this out to YouTube right now. I think Edward was asking if we're recording this. Yes, we push it out to YouTube and it automatically records everything. There's only one time in a year and a half that failed, and it's not failing right now. Everything's good. So, hey, Linda, let's bring you out here. Where's my friend Linda Landry?
Hey, John.
Hey.
Hey, everyone. How are you?
You're gracing us with video as well.
I am. No, I have a really bad headache today. But so yeah, vacuum of prosperity for me. I've been studying this book, You Too Can Be Prosperous. And that was one of the things that we were studying in one of the chapters, which made me realize that I need to let go of quite a few things, not just stuff. For me, it's been a struggle trying to let go of one business so that I can really give the attention to the other business. So it was just a simple thing, like, wow, okay, I really got to let this go. And so I have let go of a few customers, and I'm now, just that it's time, creating that extra time. Yeah. So
Right.
that's, yeah. And yeah, cleaning, definitely cleaning is, organizing your space helps with that as well. But for me, that was a big shift.
Sure. Do you find it the case that things are the thieves of time?
Things can be the thieves of time. Yes.
Right. Got to take care of all your stuff.
Yeah. But for me, it's more of giving my time away when I shouldn't be. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and then that may be more relevant. I mean, if the stuff is fine where it is, okay, that's fine. Okay, so now with my finite amount of time, attention, effort, where am I allocating that? Or is it being appropriated unappropriately, right? With agendas that I probably shouldn't have signed up for. Maybe I didn't sign up for it, right? So great stuff to look at as we round the corner on this new year. Thank you, Linda. By the way, I love your little fluffy collar thing.
Oh, my best.
Very nice. Very nice. Looks like you could go out lumberjacking with that.
Yeah. Well, it's plenty cold out there. Woo.
Yeah.
No snow, but it
Yeah.
hits you in the face this morning. Yeah.
Cold here last night as well, like 40 degrees.
Well, that would be warm.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Linda.
Good job.
Who else has some thoughts on this whole idea of releasing or hoarding and clutching onto stuff? Any other thoughts on this? I did see you, Virginia, in the chat. Thank you for that. Yeah, here's this device, here's an appliance or something that served us, and it's run its course, But when we bought it, you see, I think perhaps that's the thing that would cause me to clutch onto stuff, would be, what a triumph it was to acquire this thing. The gratification. People call this retail therapy, right? So here's the gratification of the hair dryer. And yet, time has gone on, and it's a machine, and machines break and wear out and whatever. And guess what? Because time has gone on, there's better ones now. What do you think, Virginia?
Well, I completely agree with everything you're saying. Let me just start out with that. And as you know, I don't think you're downsizing. I think you're probably upsizing to a larger accommodation. But when I moved here, I had downsized several times over the years since getting divorced from the 3,000 square foot menopause mansion. And, now I'm in I think they say it's 700 square feet. I think they're counting wall space because I bet it's not even 500. Okay. And then I still have too much stuff, because there's no room for anything. So, but it's still hard. I am such a product of a mother who grew up in the Depression, and you take care of things. I have things that are gazillion years old because I've taken care of them. Gazillion. Anyway, a lot, very old. And it's difficult to let them go. And I always think, well, can somebody use this? Can I give this to somebody? Can I donate it somewhere? Can it still have a life that I pass on so that I know that, someone else is using it? My sister, who's in Orlando 4 years younger than I am, sent me a box last year of a surprise sort of thing of skirts, these beautiful skirts, long flowing paisley, kind of hippie-ish, that she used to wear when she traveled for work and she was going to the office all the time. She couldn't bear to part with them, but they're never going to fit her again. So she sent them to me. I hung them up in my closet for a year, and then I went through my closet like a month or so ago and went, what am I going to do with these damn skirts? I'm never going to wear them. She spent like $75 to ship a whole bunch of stuff because she wanted somebody else to use it and appreciate it as much as she did. So I took them all off the hangers and everything. And what I've decided is I'm going to take those skirts and I'm going to have somebody turn them into a quilt and send them to her for her birthday. She's going to get her skirts back that she loves so much, recycled into like a bed-sized quilt or something. There's enough material there. I wanted to say about the leather hide and the animals being killed and every comment that I meant. I'm almost to the point where I think I'm going to become a vegetarian, not a vegan, but a vegetarian, because all these animals have freaking personalities. I can't stand it anymore, they all have some little quirk or tidbit. And the more I learn about these different animals and things, and I see people who have horses and chickens and pets and cats and dogs, why do they have to have a personality? I'm okay with going to the grocery store and buying the cow meat already prepackaged. I'm not okay thinking about the process that they have to diet it so that I can eat them. And then if I become a vegetarian, at some point we're going to learn the plants have personalities, and then we'll have nothing left to eat in this world but rocks. Okay. So, and maybe it's because there's been like too much death around me lately. My ex-husband's new wife's mother died this morning. I had to go to her funeral this month in Orlando. I've had so many people I know that have died. I'm like, I'm over this whole death thing. I think I'm going to go volunteer for a nursery or where there's babies being born, or some places there's life and there's joy and there's happiness and there's all of that. So, but yeah, if anyone hasn't seen Marie Kondo, Netflix did a series on her a year or two ago, so it's probably not on there anymore, but you could probably YouTube her. And I read her book, and she's she makes you go through your house. If you do a Marie Kondo, your life will not be the same. Because let's say you have clothes. We all have clothes in our closets. We have them in the spare closets. We have them somewhere else. And you have to bring out every piece of wardrobe you own and throw it on a bed somewhere into this huge pile of stuff. You would do that with your office. You would do that with your books. She would have made you take every book you own and put it in a huge pile. You would do that with your garage. You would take everything out and throw it into a huge pile in the middle of your garage. And now that you're looking at this humongous mountain of whatever that room held, you're like, holy sugar, what am I doing with all this stuff? And the things that you keep have to bring you joy. They have to serve a purpose. And only then do you put them back in their home. It's purging. And she has a way of organizing, even folding clothes and things that I follow now. She has a great book. So that's really, and even the stuff you're going to take to Florida, you're going to get some of it there and go, why did I bring this stuff? And then you're going to go, and why did I get rid of that other thing? Because now I need it and I can't find one in Florida. Well,
that's what I want to avoid. You see, that's the clutching part of me. No, don't get rid of it. I might need that. But you know what? We've purged or downsized twice. When Shannon was diagnosed with cancer, we used to have a 5,400 square foot house. And now, we're in a 2,000 square foot box here. We're getting a little bit bigger house in Florida, but we've just been renting for the last few years and getting smaller, right? Do we actually need this stuff and whatever, sell it, get rid of it? And thank goodness for Goodwill. I don't know if you all have Goodwill in your area, but it's like a big warehouse size store, and you just roll right up to the back of the place. They come out with a bin. They take whatever you've got. Yeah. Some of it is going to end up in the garbage, but some of it's going to end up on the store shelf. And so they pay for the real estate and the employees in there by reselling the stuff that you donate. Brilliant. And they'll take anything you got. I mean, don't bring them a pile of garbage, okay? But, and anything that might be saleable, bring it to Goodwill. So anyway, Adrian, you got your hand up. Hey, come on out, Adrian.
Just following up on that comment again by Virginia, the other thing that Marie Kondo said was get everything of the same type in the same place, and then only then can you actually see how many similar items you have, because we don't realize how many alternative items we've bought that we just stock up, and we've got several of them, and that's a great way to clutter everything up. Just get them all gathered together. They're all for a similar purpose. Then how many of these do I actually need? So that's another thing she quite rightly said.
So you're familiar with this teacher?
This is the one I was referring to when I said the
Right.
Japanese lady that says, "Do you really love this item?"
Right.
It was her. You know, you hold the thing literally. It's all about the connection. Hold it. I think this could equally apply when you're buying it, and it could apply to thoughts too. Hold it, look at it, and say, "Do I really love this? Why have I got it?" If you don't really connect with it, you don't really love it, you've got to say, "Why is this taking up space, not only in my home but in my mind?"
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, John, it's a powerful way of assessing things. Otherwise, as you say, you don't want to part with them. Of course, we don't want
Right.
to part with anything. We have connection to possessions. Once they've crossed the threshold, they're ours. We don't like getting rid of them.
Right. Right.
It's hard to do that. So you've got to say, "Why have I got it?" You've got to start questioning why you have this thing.
Right. Well, on that note, so the question of balance is what come up for me again. I have tools in my tool chest, which I haven't used in a couple of years, but now I need it. Right. And it's there. And so I've had to look at that. It's like, all right, do I sell it now? I would just have to rebuy it when I need to do that, particular job around the house, or, electrical, or, change out the brake pads on the Harley or something, right? I got the tools to do that stuff. So in the meantime, it just sits there for years, taking up space. Not a whole lot of space, but it all adds up. Here's something. I won this. This is called an Amazon Kindle Fire. Okay. I won this. I forced myself to use it a couple of times, and it has books on it. I guess you can do other entertainment stuff with it. I'm not that interested in being entertained. I like to read my books, but you know what? I don't carry it with me. And so it just sits there on my desk. I dust it off every now and then. When I'm mobile and want to read, guess where else my books are? On the thing that's in my pocket at all times. All right. So do I need the Kindle Fire? Would I have bought it of my own accord? No, I wanted it here. You win a sales contest, have some free stuff. Okay. I got so much free stuff. Does anybody want an Amazon Kindle Fire that I can mail you? My wife and daughter, between them, have like 5 iPads. I don't have any. I've never wanted an iPad. They got like 5 of them. Anyway, Kindle Fire up for grabs. All right.
The great news, John, is that you can actually download the software onto your PC, your laptop, and read those Kindle books on the Kindle app. So you really
it's in my iPhone. I got the Kindle app
in the iPhone.
iPhone.
You can put that on the PC as well. It'll go on your laptop.
It's on my Mac. Most of my reading now is right here on this screen that I'm looking at right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So those Kindle Fires, you just don't need them. Well,
okay. Any other thoughts? I love you guys. Here's what I'm not getting rid of. This friggin' cup warmer. Holy crap-oli. I love this thing. How did I ever live without it? All right. Let's wrap up with that. I'll see you back here tonight at the book study group. Hopefully you can all tune in for the grand finale of Joe Murphy's Power of Your Subconscious Mind. Missy, if you would suggest a Neville book. We're going to skip a week for Christmas week, right? Holiday week. And then we're going to get on to, because Neville's name just keeps coming up. I'm not sure which book though. So if you have an intention on that, please make it known.
I just do it could be really quick. We could do it in 2 weeks. Stuart sent the PDF. I can't think of the name of it right now.
Okay.
But he has examples of all the stuff that worked over the years, and it's magnificent.
Okay. Well, good. We'll start with that. I'll ask Stuart then. Very good.
Yeah.
All right, my friends. Let's wrap up. I'll see you guys back here tonight.